It's Sunday and that means there's another food video of BeerBiceps. So I keep getting a lot of requests for vegetarian recipes and primarily I'm a fitness based channel, so I'm all about that protein. Now today we're going to be making one of the world's best possible vegetarian protein sources. We're going to be making soya chunk bhurji. Soya chunks are super high in protein. They have about 52 grams of protein per 100 grams. Chicken has less than half of that. So this vegetarian protein is probably the most superior kind of vegetarian protein. But remember, as a vegetarian, you can't completely rely on this as your only protein source. But either way guys, today we're going to be going for a super easy, super delicious Mumbai style soya chunk bhurji. Let's go. Okay guys, so these are the basic ingredients you need to make a basic Bombay style bhurji. Firstly, onions. Next, tomatoes. Really essentially use these tomatoes because they add a sweetness to the bhurji. Next, we go for chili. I'm taking a lot of chili here, but you can take as much as you want. If you want, you can even ignore this. Next, salt. Really important to add, because it's salt. Next, we have red chili powder. Now, this will add an awesome color and it'll add to the kick from the green chili. Really important you use this. Next, coming to ground garam masala. Adds an awesome Indian dimension to this bhurji. This bhurji isn't the same without the garam masala. Finally, turmeric adds an awesome color and is really good for health. And finally, coming to the main ingredient, these soya chunks. Soya chunks are super high protein at 52 grams per 100. But remember, as a vegetarian, you need to vary all your protein sources. So don't rely on this completely. So the first step in making the soya bhurji is to soak the soya chunks in warm water for about 20 minutes. When you soak them, they expand a lot in size. So make sure you don't soak the entire packet. Just take a fistful of these dry chunks and soak them. They'll expand a lot. Okay guys, so the next step is to take those soaked soya chunks and cut them up into bite-sized bits. Now, the more you cut them up, the more the surface area of the chunks and the more they'll be able to absorb all the juices from the bhurji. Also, when they're too big, they're not very pleasant to eat. So the first step in the cooking process is to amp up that gas and then get your wok on it. You want the wok to be super hot. Ideally, you should be using a cast iron wok, but a regular kitchen wok will work fine. Okay, so you start by adding a little oil or ghee as I've done here and just add all the onions, the tomato and the chili to the ghee. When the wok is that hot, you don't need to bother much about the order in which you add things. Also, really hot cast iron wok will give the entire dish a very smoky flavor. That's why I recommend cast iron. But again, as I'm doing here, a regular kitchen wok will work just fine. After you've sauteed the onions, the tomatoes and the chilies for a bit, you can start adding the dry masala and saute it for another 2 or 3 minutes. Now you gotta make sure it doesn't get burnt. You can see that color at the bottom. That's not it getting burnt, that's just caramelization. So you want all that caramelization because there's beautiful flavor. So just like I did here, you just add some water to the wok and deglaze it a bit. It'll add an awesome flavor to the bhurji. Next, we'll go in with all those high protein soya chunks and you gotta make sure that the masala coats the chunks really well. After the chunks are coated, the final step is to just add a bit of water to the mix. This will allow all the flavor to really get into the soya chunks. The soya chunks will absorb all that water and you'll be left with a juicy Bombay style soya bhurji. Cover it for a while, say about 2 minutes, and then you're left with this beautiful juicy Mumbai style soya bhurji. Enjoy guys. Any great Bombay style bhurji is best garnished with some coriander and served with some bread on the side. This is just cheap, high protein goodness. Hey guys, so that was the video for today. I hope you guys liked it. If you all did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, leave a comment and subscribe to BeerBiceps. If you want to follow my personal fitness journey, make sure you follow me on Instagram at BeerBiceps, on Twitter at BeerBiceps93 and my Snapchat ID is ranveer.1693. So make sure you get adding. This is my Facebook page given down below, so make sure you give that a like as well. So until next time guys, from Gigi and me, see you Gigi, say bye.